The rent collector, the colony, was quiet that night. Too quiet, like the air itself was holding its breath. Daniel sat inside his small room, staring at the cracked walls. His hands empty, his pockets empty too. Rent was due tomorrow, and he had nothing to give. He had been working in the repair docks, fixing broken machines, carrying metal parts, but the pay was too low. The landlord always demanded more. For months, Daniel had managed by selling little things, odd jobs here and there. But now even that had run out, and tomorrow the landlord's guards would come. Daniel closed his eyes, his mind heavy. He thought of Earth, far away, the home he left behind here in this alien colony. Humans were treated like second-class citizens. Workers, tools, never equals. The knock came suddenly, hard and sharp. 3 times on the metal door. Daniel's heart jumped. He wasn't ready, he wasn't prepared. The door creaked open, and 2 tall alien guards stepped inside, their armor gleaming, their eyes cold behind them. The landlord himself appeared, a thick alien with scales on his face and a cruel smile. "Rent, human," the landlord hissed. "Pay tonight, or tomorrow you leave with nothing." Daniel stood, his voice low. "I don't have it." The guards shifted. "Ready to grab him?" The landlord's smile widened. "Then you will sleep outside among the rats. Maybe even the scavenger dogs will eat what's left of you." Daniel's fists clenched, but he stayed silent. He knew fighting them was useless. One strike from their heavy hands would break his bones. And then, a soft voice cut through the tension. "I will pay for him." Everyone turned. At the edge of the hallway stood a young alien girl. Her skin pale blue, her hair long and dark, her eyes bright yet gentle. She stepped closer. Holding nothing but a small bundle of cloth, the landlord laughed. "You? What do you have, girl? Do you think we take kindness as payment?" The girl smiled, calm and unafraid. "I will do what a man loves most," she paused, letting the words hang in the air. Daniel froze. The guards stared, and then she knelt down beside a pile of Daniel's dirty clothes. "I will fold his laundry." The room fell silent. The landlord blinked in confusion. The guards exchanged looks. Even Daniel didn't understand. Was she mocking him? Or was this some strange alien custom? She picked up one of his shirts, carefully smoothed it out, and folded it with perfect precision, then another and another. Her hands moved like this was sacred work, her smile never fading. The landlord's face twisted. "Foolish girl, this is no payment. You cannot buy rent with folding cloth." But Daniel saw something else in her eyes. Something steady. Something that told him this act meant more than it seemed. The landlord spat on the floor. "Tomorrow, human, I come back, and if you don't pay, I throw you both out, fold your laundry, or fold his grave clothes, I don't care." With a harsh laugh, he turned and left, the guards following behind, their heavy boots shaking the floor. The room grew quiet again, only the sound of the girl folding. Daniel looked at her, his voice finally breaking. "Why did you do that?" "You don't even know me." The girl looked up, her smile gentle. "Because you are kind, and because folding cloth binds fate in my people's ways. It means I have chosen you." Daniel's breath caught. Chosen him for what, he didn't know. But in that moment he understood one thing. His life had just changed, and the danger was only beginning. The alien girl's smile. Daniel could not sleep that night. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw the girl's calm face, the way she smiled as if danger was nothing, the way her hands folded his worn-out shirts like they were treasures. Morning came. The sun of the alien colony was dim and red. Dust blowing through the streets. Daniel sat at his small table, staring at the girl who had stayed the night without asking. She was busy folding again, piece after piece, her movements slow, careful, graceful. Finally, Daniel spoke, his voice rough. "Who are you?" The girl looked up, her smile soft but steady. "My name is Lyra," she said, her voice gentle but firm. "I was born here, but I don't belong to them." She pointed toward the streets, meaning the other aliens. Daniel frowned. "And why did you help me?" "You don't even know me." Lyra paused, folding a shirt perfectly before placing it on the table. "Because I know what it is like to be powerless, to have no voice, to be pushed away." Her eyes lowered, shadows moving across her face. "Folding cloth is not just work. It is a promise in my people's way. Once I fold for someone, I cannot walk away." Daniel leaned back, his chest heavy. "So you're saying, by folding my laundry, you tied yourself to me?" Lyra nodded slowly, still smiling, but there was something deeper in her eyes, a sadness mixed with hope. Daniel shook his head. "That's crazy." It was just clothes, just dirty shirts. But Lyra's smile never faded. No human, it was fate outside. The colony was already waking up, the sound of engines, fenders shouting, guards marching. The landlord's name was whispered with fear. No one wanted to cross him. Yet Lyra sat there calmly as if the landlord's threat meant nothing. Daniel could not understand it. She should have been afraid, but instead she smiled. Even when danger was near later that day, Daniel tried to go find work at the repair docks. Lyra followed, carrying the small bundle of folded clothes in her arms as if they were precious stones. The workers looked at her strangely. Some laughed, some muttered, "Why is she with the human?" Others whispered, "That girl. Doesn't she belong to the cursed clan?" Daniel caught those words, but before he could ask, a loud crash shook the docks. One of the repair machines fell from its frame, sparks flying. Workers screamed. Without thinking, Daniel ran forward to help, and to his shock, Lyra was already there, pulling a worker free from the falling machine. Her strength was greater than she looked, her hands steady, her smile still there even in the chaos. When the danger passed, Daniel stared at her, his voice low. "You're not just some girl, are you?" Lyra looked at him, her smile softer now. "I told you. Once I fold, I belong, and once I belong, I protect." Daniel felt a strange chill. He realized her smile wasn't just kindness. It was a shield, a mask hiding something much bigger. That evening, as they returned to his room, Daniel noticed something he hadn't before. The folded shirts and pants she left behind carried strange patterns, not random at all, almost like symbols stitched by her hands. He picked one up, running his finger along the crease. It was like a hidden code, a message written without ink. Daniel looked at her sharply. "What are you doing, Lyra?" "These folds, they mean something." For the first time, her smile faltered just for a moment. Then she said quietly, "One day you will see. The fold is more powerful than any blade." Daniel's stomach tightened. He didn't know if he should feel safe or terrified. But one thing was certain. The girl who smiled so calmly was hiding secrets, and those secrets were already pulling him into a storm he could not escape. Secrets in the cloth. The nights on the colony were colder than the days. Thin air carried dust across the empty streets. Daniel sat on his bed staring at the pile of neatly folded clothes. He should have felt comfort. Yet something about those folds made his skin crawl. Each shirt, each pair of pants was arranged with precision. Angles too sharp, lines too perfect. Daniel picked one up and traced his finger along the crease. It was not random, it looked like shapes, symbols. Almost like writing, he muttered under his breath. "This isn't just folding, this is something else." Lyra was sitting by the small window, moonlight painting her pale face. She was quiet, her eyes lost in the stars above. Daniel finally asked, his voice steady. "Lyra, these folds, they mean something, don't they?" She turned to him slowly, her smile faint, almost sad. "You notice too much, human," she whispered. "Most men never look. They only see clean cloth, but you see the truth?" Daniel's chest tightened. "Then tell me, what truth?" Lyra walked over, picking up a folded shirt. She held it like a sacred scroll. "In my clan, folding cloth is more than work. It is language. Every crease tells a story. Every angle carries a message." She pressed the shirt to her chest. "It is the only way we speak when voices are silenced," Daniel frowned. "Silenced? By who?" Lyra's smile wavered, her eyes darkening. "By those who rule. By the ones who fear what my people know." Before Daniel could ask more, a loud knock echoed through the door, heavy, angry. He froze. Lyra's smile returned, calm as ever. "Do not answer," she whispered. "It is not yet time." The knock came again, harder, then footsteps moved away. Fading into the night, Daniel exhaled, sweat running down his neck. "They're watching us, aren't they?" Lyra placed the shirt back in the pile. "Yes, because they know if I fold, the message will travel even without sound, even without paper." Daniel rubbed his face, trying to understand. "You mean, you're sending messages through my laundry?" She nodded, her eyes shining. "Every fold carries a sign. Others like me can see it across the colony, across the stars if needed." Daniel's stomach twisted. Suddenly he felt exposed, like his small home was no longer his, but a beacon calling strangers. "So you used me," he said sharply. "You made me part of this without asking." For a long moment, Lyra said nothing. Then she knelt before him, her hands resting on the folded pile, her smile gentle. "No, Daniel, I chose you, because you chose kindness when no one else did." Fate guided my hands. And now we are bound. Daniel looked at her. Torn between anger and fear, but also something else, curiosity. A pull he could not deny. Outside, the sound of ships roared in the distance. Strange vessels circling the colony skies. Their lights flashing like eyes searching in the dark. Daniel shivered. Are they here? Because of you? Lyra's voice was soft but certain. Yes. They hunt the fold and they hunt me, but now, Daniel, they will hunt you too. His heart pounded. The room felt smaller, walls closing in. Yet Lyra's smile remained steady, as if she had seen this all before. She reached out, taking his hand, her touch cold but firm. Do not fear. The fold does not only carry danger, it also carries protection. When the time comes, you will see. Daniel looked down at the pile of clothes, once worthless rags, now secret messages of a hidden war. His voice broke. What have you dragged me into, Lyra? Her smile widened just a little, almost playful. Not dragged, Daniel, lifted, she whispered. Lifted into something greater than yourself. The night grew darker. But Daniel knew the truth. He was no longer just a tenant who could not pay rent. He was now a part of something vast. And the folded cloth on his table might hold the key to life or death. The threat grows. Morning light spilled weakly through the colony's smog-filled sky. Daniel stepped outside his small home, his eyes scanning the narrow streets. He had lived here for years, but today everything felt different. Every shadow seemed sharper, every sound carried weight. Lyra followed close behind. Carrying the bundle of freshly folded clothes as if they were gold, she moved calmly, her soft smile fixed on her face. But Daniel noticed how her eyes flicked left and right. Always watching, always expecting something. At the end of the street, 2 alien guards stood talking, their armor black and marked with the landlord's crest. When their eyes landed on Daniel, their voices fell silent. One whispered something to the other. Then both smirked. Daniel's chest tightened. He knew they were waiting for a chance. He hurried Lyra along, whispering, Keep your head down. Don't draw attention. But she simply smiled. The more they look, the more they reveal. Let them watch. Daniel clenched his jaw. He didn't like her calmness. Didn't like how she seemed to know more than she told. But before he could argue, a sudden roar echoed above. He looked up and froze. Ships, sleek and dark, circled in the skies, not colony transports. Not merchant vessels, no, these ships were hunters. Their engines growled like beasts. Their sharp wings cut through the haze. People on the street stopped. Some gasped. Some hurried into doorways. Everyone knew strangers had come. Daniel's heart pounded. They're here for you, aren't they? Lyra's smile softened. They are here for the fold. And the fold is now with you, so yes, they are here for both of us. Daniel grabbed her arm, pulling her into a narrow alley. You don't understand. I'm just a man who can't pay rent. I don't want this. I never asked for this. But Lyra didn't resist. Her eyes locked on his, steady, calm. Fate does not ask, Daniel. It arrives. As they hurried through the alley, Daniel noticed strange symbols scratched on the walls. They looked like the same patterns he had seen in Lyra's folded clothes. He stopped, touching one. Is this yours? Lyra nodded, her smile faint. Others like me are here, hidden, waiting. The folds connect us. Daniel shivered, realizing the whole colony might already be part of her hidden network. That evening, Daniel's fear grew heavier. He barred the door, checked the windows. Every sound outside made him jump. Lyra sat calmly at the table, folding again, her hands steady, her face serene. Finally, Daniel snapped. Why do you keep smiling? Don't you see? They're watching us. The landlord wants me gone, the guards are circling, and those ships are death. Lyra looked up. Her smile soft, almost gentle. Because fear feeds them. Daniel, but the smile feeds me. If I stop smiling, I lose. And I do not lose, her words lingered, strong yet strange. Daniel didn't know whether to feel comfort or fear. Then came another knock, slow, deliberate. Not the landlord this time. The sound was heavier, colder. Daniel froze. Lyra's smile widened just a little. They have come sooner than I thought, Daniel whispered, panic in his throat. Who? She stood, her folded bundle clutched in her arms. My clan's shadows, the ones who do not forgive, the ones who will demand I return or demand your life. Daniel's stomach dropped. He pressed his back against the wall. The door shook again, harder this time. Voices speaking in a strange alien tongue hissed through the cracks. Lyra's eyes glowed faintly in the dim light. Her smile unbroken. Do not open, Daniel. Not tonight if they wish to take me. They must tear the fold from your hands and that. They will not find easy. Daniel swallowed hard, staring at the pile of folded laundry on the table. Simple cloth, yet somehow powerful enough to draw hunters from the sky. He realized then that rent was no longer his biggest problem. The true threat had grown far beyond debt, far beyond the landlord. The storm had arrived, and he was standing in its center. The clan's curse. The door stayed silent that night. The heavy voices faded into the distance, but Daniel could not sleep. He lay awake on the cold floor, staring at the folded pile of clothes glowing faintly in the dim light. Each crease seemed alive, each shadow whispered of secrets. Lyra sat near the window, her arms wrapped around her knees, still smiling softly as if nothing was wrong. Daniel finally spoke, his voice rough. "They will come again, won't they?" She turned her head slowly, her smile calm. "Yes, they always return. The fold cannot be ignored, and I cannot hide forever." Daniel pushed himself up, frustration boiling inside. "Then tell me the truth, no more half-answers. No more smiles hiding everything. What is this really about, Lyra? Who are they? Why are you so important?" For the first time since she arrived, her smile faded only for a heartbeat. But Daniel saw it, and in that brief moment, she looked younger, more fragile, more human than alien. She whispered, "It is the curse, Daniel. The curse of my clan." Daniel frowned. "Curse?" Lyra nodded, her eyes drifting toward the folded clothes. "Long ago, my people learned the fold. We discovered how cloth could carry meaning. Not just words, but power. With every crease we could bind promises, heal wounds, even seal enemies in shame. But power always draws hunger. Our clan was betrayed. Our gift called dangerous. Cursed, so they silenced us, scattered us, hunted us. Yet the fold survived." Daniel stared at her, disbelief mixed with unease. "And by folding my laundry, you dragged me into this curse?" Lyra's smile returned, faint but steady. "Not dragged, Daniel, chosen when I folded your cloth. I claimed you as my protector. By law of the fold. You are bound to me now, and in turn, my enemies are yours." Daniel's chest grew tight. He rose and paced the room. "I didn't ask for this. I just wanted to survive. To pay rent, to live quietly, and now you tell me I'm tied to some ancient alien curse?" But Lyra stood too, her hands clasped gently. "Quiet lives end quickly here, Daniel. But those who choose courage, they live long in memory." Before he could answer, a sound echoed outside, chanting, low and heavy. Daniel peeked through a crack in the wall, his heart stopped. A group of hooded aliens stood in the street, their hands raised, their voices weaving strange words. Lyra's smile deepened, calm and eerie. "The shadows of my clan? They are calling the curse." Daniel turned to her, panic sharp in his throat. "What does that mean?" Her eyes glowed faintly. "They want me to return. If I refuse, they will bring the curse upon you." Daniel felt cold all over. "So it's me or you?" But Lyra shook her head, her voice strong now. "No, Daniel, it is us together. The fold bound us, and the curse will test us. If we stand, we break it. If we fall, we join the silence." The chanting outside grew louder. Shadows twisted across the walls. The folded clothes on the table trembled as if caught in invisible winds. Daniel grabbed Lyra's arm. "Tell me how to stop this." She looked into his eyes. Her smile still there, though softer, almost sad. "You cannot stop the curse, Daniel. You can only endure it. Only prove that your heart is stronger than their fear." Daniel's breath came fast, the room shaking, the voices outside rising like thunder. He stared at the pile of folded shirts and pants, once ordinary, now the center of an ancient battle. For the first time, he realized he was no longer just a man fighting for rent or survival. He was caught inside something far older, far darker, a curse that bound not just Lyra, but now him too. And as the chanting grew louder, Daniel whispered to himself, "What have I become?" The chase. The chanting stopped with the morning sun, but Daniel felt no relief. He stepped outside to fetch water, and the street was almost empty, too empty. Only a few merchants hurried by with their heads down. No one looked at him, no one spoke. They all knew something was coming. Lyra stood in the doorway, her folded bundle held close. Her calm smile fixed on her face, but her eyes kept searching the rooftops, the alleys, the shadows. Daniel asked quietly, "Are they gone?" She shook her head. "No, they are waiting." Curses never end in silence, they end in pursuit. As if to answer her words, heavy boots echoed from the far side of the street. The landlord's guards marched forward, armored and armed, their faces hard. The landlord followed, his scaled skin glistening, his cruel smile wide. "Human," he called out, his voice sharp. "Time is finished. Rent unpaid, debt unforgiven. Today I collect, and I will take both you and your folding girl." Daniel's stomach tightened. He backed away, whispering to Lyra, "We can't fight them." But she only smiled, her voice soft. "Then we run," the guards charged. Daniel grabbed her hand, and together they sprinted down the narrow street, the sound of armored feet pounding behind them. They weaved through alleys, past broken walls and rusting pipes. Daniel's lungs burned, but adrenaline pushed him on. Behind them, shouts rose, "Catch the human! Catch the girl!" They turned into the lower district, where the colony's poor lived in stacked shacks. People stared as they passed. Some muttered curses, others hid. No one dared interfere. Daniel's heart raced. He hissed at Lyra, "Where are we going?" She glanced back, her smile unbroken. "To the hidden folds, the place where shadows cannot follow." But the guards were faster than Daniel expected, their long strides closing the gap. One raised his weapon, firing a blast that shattered a wall beside them. Dust rained down. Daniel stumbled, but Lyra pulled him forward, her strength surprising for her size. They burst into an abandoned marketplace. Stalls broken, cloths torn and hanging. Daniel ducked behind a cart, gasping for air. "We can't keep this up. They'll corner us." Lyra crouched beside him, her hands moving quickly, grabbing torn pieces of cloth from the ground. She folded them with rapid precision, angles sharp, movements exact. She shoved the folded bundle into Daniel's hands. "Throw this when I say." The guards poured into the marketplace, their eyes scanning, their weapons raised. The landlord's voice roared, "There is no escape." "Human." Lyra's smile grew, calm even now, she whispered. "Now." Daniel hurled the folded bundle, and to his shock the cloth exploded in a burst of light. Blinding the guards, their armor sparked. Their visors flashed with static. They stumbled, shouting in confusion. Daniel's eyes widened. What was that?" Lyra stood, pulling him up. "The fold, Daniel, it bends more than cloth. It bends their sight, their breath, their fear." They ran again, slipping into a tunnel beneath the marketplace, the air damp and cold, the walls carved with strange patterns. Daniel's chest heaved, his voice shaking. "This isn't just running anymore, is it? This is war." Lyra's smile softened, her eyes glowing faintly in the dark. "It has always been war, Daniel. You just did not see it until now." Behind them, the shouts returned, echoing through the tunnels. The chase was far from over. Daniel realized they could never go back. His small home, his quiet life, all of it was gone. Now he was bound to Lyra, bound to her curse and hunted by forces far greater than debt. And in the shadows of the tunnels, Daniel whispered to himself, "I don't know if I can survive this." Lyra only squeezed his hand, her smile calm. "You can, because now the fold runs through you too." The first fight, the tunnels twisted like the veins of some giant creature. Daniel ran with Lyra at his side, the air damp. The smell of rust and dust thick, their footsteps echoed, and behind them the angry shouts of guards grew closer. Daniel's lungs burned, his legs shook, but fear pushed him forward. He stumbled around a corner and nearly crashed into a dead end. Walls sealed with collapsed stone, his heart sank. "We're trapped." Lyra looked at him calmly, her smile soft. "Not trapped. Tested," she whispered, then she bent down, picking up scraps of cloth left behind by the forgotten workers who once lived here. The guards stormed into the tunnel, their armor clanking, weapons glowing with charged energy. The landlord's voice echoed from behind them. "End this, kill the human, and bring me the girl." Daniel's breath came in short bursts. He looked at the guards, at their glowing blades, at their sneering faces. He whispered, "We can't fight them, Lyra." But Lyra's smile deepened. "You can, Daniel, not with strength, but with the human way." Daniel's hands shook as he picked up a broken pipe from the ground. His mind raced. He remembered his time at the docks, fixing machines, patching leaks, finding shortcuts when the tools didn't fit. He tightened his grip on the pipe. "All right," he muttered. "Let's try the human way," the first guard charged. His heavy steps shaking the ground, Daniel sidestepped, swinging the pipe. It cracked against the guard's helmet. Sparks flying, the alien stumbled but didn't fall. The second guard raised his blade, swinging down hard. Daniel ducked. The blade slammed into the stone wall. Sticking there for a second, Daniel kicked the guard's leg. Making him stumble, he swung the pipe again, this time aiming for the joint of the armor. The guard grunted in pain and fell. Daniel couldn't believe it. He was fighting aliens and somehow holding his ground. Meanwhile, Lyra's hands moved quickly. Folding scraps of cloth into sharp creases, she whispered over them, then threw one bundle at the remaining guards. It burst into a blinding flash, filling the tunnel with white light. The guards staggered, their vision clouded. Daniel seized the chance, using his pipe to strike one in the back, then shoving another into the collapsed stones. The sound of armor crashing echoed through the tunnel. The landlord's angry roar filled the air. "Weak, useless human, you think this changes anything?" Daniel stood panting, sweat dripping, his arms aching, but his eyes were sharp now, his fear burning into something new, determination. He raised the pipe, his voice steady for the first time. "I don't need to be strong like you, I only need to be smart. And humans are good at that." Lyra looked at him, her smile proud. "Yes, Daniel. Now you see," she whispered, "the fold is strong, but so are you." Daniel turned back as the last guard lunged. This time he didn't run. He jabbed the pipe into the alien's chest, forcing him back, then smashed the butt of the pipe against the guard's head. The alien crumpled to the ground, unconscious. Silence filled the tunnel. Daniel's chest rose and fell, his body trembling from the effort. But he was alive, he had fought, and he had won. Lyra walked over, her eyes shining, her smile soft. "The first fight is always the hardest. But now you know, Daniel, you are not helpless. You are not prey." Daniel dropped the pipe, his hands shaking. "I never wanted this fight." "Lyra," he whispered. "But if they come again, I'll be ready." Above them, the distant roar of the hunter ships echoed, reminding them both that this was only the beginning. The first fight was done, but the war was still chasing them step by step, fold by fold. The laundry becomes a weapon. The tunnel grew quiet after the fight. The fallen guards lay scattered, their armor cracked, their weapons dim. Daniel leaned against the wall, his chest rising and falling, sweat dripping down his face. He could hardly believe what he had done. He looked at the broken pipe in his hand, bent and useless now, his voice low. "We can't keep running like this, they'll send more. Stronger ones." Lyra knelt beside him, her bundle of folded cloth resting gently in her lap, her smile calm. "Then we will not only run, Daniel. We will strike," Daniel frowned. "With what? I don't have guns, I don't have ships, I don't have an army." Her smile widened, soft and steady. "You have the fold." He blinked, staring at the bundle. "Laundry? You're telling me laundry will save us?" She nodded, her fingers already moving, folding a strip of cloth into sharp, perfect angles. "The fold bends more than fabric. It bends thought, it bends sight, it bends fear. When others see only shirts, I see shields. When others see only cloth, I see fire." Daniel shook his head, still doubtful. But when she tossed the folded strip onto the floor, he gasped. The cloth pulsed with light, then expanded into a wall of shimmering air, like an invisible shield stretching across the tunnel. He reached out, touching it. His hand met resistance, strong as steel. Yet nothing but folded cloth powered it. "That's impossible," he whispered. Lyra's smile softened. "Not impossible, Daniel. Only unseen by those who never look closely." Daniel felt his doubt begin to crack. Maybe this curse wasn't only danger. Maybe it was power. "Can you make weapons?" he asked quietly. Lyra's hands moved faster, folding scraps into different shapes. "Watch," she said, tossing one bundle upward. It unfolded midair and burst into a flare of bright light, flooding the tunnel, then another, folded like a spiral, spun across the ground and exploded into sparks that hissed and danced like fire. Daniel's eyes widened, his breath unsteady. This is war magic," Lyra smiled at him, her voice steady. "No, Daniel, this is art. And art always wins against cruelty." The ground shook. Voices echoed again. More guards entering the tunnels. The landlord's angry roar carried through the stone. "You can fight, human, but you cannot win. The clan's curse will crush you both." Daniel tightened his grip on the broken pipe, then looked at the folded bundles in Lyra's hands. His fear shifted into something sharper. Determination. "Then let's show them what laundry can do." When the guards appeared, their weapons glowing, Daniel and Lyra moved together. She tossed folded bundles that burst into blinding flashes. Confusing the enemy, Daniel charged forward. Striking while they staggered, he used every trick he knew, slamming one guard's helmet against the wall. Tripping another with a loose pipe, Lyra's folds created barriers that blocked blasts, her cloth shield shimmering with energy. Daniel fought behind them, safe where he should have died. The guards shouted in confusion, "It's only cloth." "How is this possible?" Daniel grinned through his sweat, swinging the pipe. "Never underestimate laundry," he muttered under his breath. For the first time, he felt like the fight was theirs. Not just survival, but victory. When the last guard fell, silence filled the tunnel again. Daniel dropped the broken pipe, panting, his body sore but his spirit blazing. He turned to Lyra. We can fight back, can't we? Not just hide, not just run, we can really fight. Lyra's smile warmed, her eyes bright. Yes, Daniel, now the fold belongs to you too. Together we will turn laundry into legend. Above them, the hunter ships roared again, searching, circling. The war was far from over, but Daniel no longer felt powerless. With a bundle of folded cloth and a strange alien girl at his side, he was ready to face whatever came next. The last confrontation. The tunnels opened into the colony's edge, where broken towers leaned against each other like tired giants. Daniel and Lyra stepped into the cold night air. Above them, the hunter ships circled, their searchlights cutting across the ruins. The chase had ended here, but the fight was not finished. Daniel's body ached, his arms heavy, but his eyes burned with fire. Lyra walked beside him, her folded bundle clutched close, her soft smile never fading, though her voice carried a weight now. It is time, Daniel. My clan has come. From the shadows ahead, figures emerged, tall aliens in dark robes, their faces hidden, their hands glowing with strange energy. Behind them stood the landlord, his scaled face twisted with pride. There he is, he hissed, pointing. The cursed girl and her foolish human, take them both. Bind them to the silence, Daniel gritted his teeth, gripping the broken pipe once again. Though bent and dented, it was the only weapon he trusted, he whispered to Lyra. We can't fight all of them. She looked at him with calm eyes, her smile soft. We don't fight all, we fight the one. The robed leader stepped forward, his voice deep and echoing. Child of the fold, return to your curse, release the human, he does not belong. But Lyra shook her head, her voice steady. The fold has chosen him, and through him, the curse breaks tonight. The leader raised his hands. The air shimmered with power. The ground trembled. Daniel felt his knees weaken, but Lyra pressed a folded bundle into his hands. Her voice urgent, throw it when I nod, trust the fold. The clash began. The robed figures chanted, their energy swirling like a storm. The landlord laughed behind them, certain of victory. Daniel ducked as a blast of force shattered the ground beside him. Rocks flying, his ears ringing, Lyra moved like water, her hands folding cloth faster than his eyes could follow, tossing them into the air, each fold bursting into shields, flares, or traps. One guard stumbled into a fold that snapped shut like chains. Binding him to the ground, Daniel watched in awe, but the leader pressed forward stronger than the rest, his power tearing through the shields, the curse blazing like fire around him. Lyra glanced at Daniel and gave the nod. Daniel's heart pounded. He hurled the folded bundle with all his strength. It unfolded mid-air, glowing brighter than the sun. The leader roared as the light struck him. His chanting broke, his power faltered. Daniel charged, swinging the pipe with all his might, striking the leader across the chest. The impact cracked the alien's armor, sending him staggering back. The landlord's laughter died, his eyes wide with shock. Impossible. A human cannot? Daniel cut him off with a glare, his voice hard. This human can? The robed leader fell to his knees. The glow fading from his hands, the chanting of the others broke, fear spreading through their ranks. Lyra stood tall, her smile radiant now, not just calm but victorious. The fold is not curse. It is freedom, she declared, and tonight it belongs to us. The landlord snarled, turning to flee, but Daniel grabbed him, slamming him against the broken wall. No more threats, no more rent. You're finished. The landlord whimpered, his power gone with the clan's defeat. He stumbled away into the ruins, his reign shattered. Silence fell, broken only by the distant hum of the hunter ships retreating into the dark sky. Daniel dropped the pipe. His body trembling, he turned to Lyra, breathing hard. We did it, her smile softened, her eyes warm. Yes, Daniel, you fought the last fight. And you stood. Daniel looked at the folded bundle still glowing faintly in his hands. Once laundry, now a weapon, now a bond. He realized the truth. This was no longer about rent or survival. It was about something far greater. And as the ruins grew quiet, Daniel whispered, then let's finish it. Together. A home of their own. The ruins were quiet after the battle. Broken stones glowed faintly from the strange light of the folds. Daniel stood in the cold air, his chest heavy, his body sore. But for the first time since this nightmare began, He felt something new, peace. Lyra walked beside him, her folded bundle pressed close, her smile soft. Not the calm shield she had always worn, but a warmer smile filled with relief. "It is over," she whispered. Daniel shook his head slowly. "No, it's not over, not really," he said, his eyes on the retreating lights of the hunter ships. "But maybe it's the beginning of something else." They returned through the empty streets. No guards blocked them, no landlord waited. People peered out of doors and windows, whispering, some in fear, some in awe, for word had already spread. The human and the cursed girl had stood against the clan and survived. Daniel's small home still stood, though cracked and dusty. He stepped inside with Lyra, the silence heavy, the old pile of laundry still waiting on the table. But now it looked different, sacred even. Daniel dropped into his chair, exhausted. "All this," he muttered, "started because I couldn't pay rent." He let out a tired laugh, shaking his head. "And now here we are, fighting curses with folded shirts." Lyra placed the folded bundle on the table, her smile steady. "Sometimes the smallest things carry the greatest power," she said gently. "A meal, a touch, a fold, even a smile. They bind hearts stronger than any weapon." Daniel watched her hands move, folding another shirt slowly, carefully, but this time it was not rushed, not desperate. It was calm, like someone building something new. He asked softly, "So what now? Do we just wait until they come back?" Lyra shook her head, her hair falling across her face. "No, Daniel, now we build. The curse is broken because we stood together. But there will always be those who fear the fold, those who want to destroy it. We cannot run forever, so we make a place where no one can take it away." Daniel leaned back, staring at the cracked ceiling. "A place of our own," he whispered, almost to himself. Lyra's smile brightened. "Yes, a home. Not just yours, not just mine, but ours." In the days that followed, things began to change. Neighbors who once ignored Daniel now offered scraps of food. Tools, even cloth. They whispered about the fight, about the human who stood against the landlord, about the girl who smiled through storms. Together, Daniel and Lyra repaired the broken walls, patched the roof, rebuilt the home piece by piece, and with every fold of cloth, Lyra left symbols hidden within. Not curses now, but blessings, signs of protection, signs of belonging. Daniel worked harder than he ever had, not just for survival, but for something greater. He no longer felt like a man waiting for rent to crush him. He felt like someone building a life, building a future. At night, when the dust settled and the stars flickered through the colony's haze, Daniel would sit at the table watching Lyra fold. Her smile soft, steady, always the same. But now he understood it. It wasn't just calm, it was strength. It was love hidden in simple hands. One evening, as the fire flickered low, Daniel whispered, "You saved me, Lyra." She looked at him, her smile glowing. "No, Daniel, you saved yourself. I only folded what was already inside you." Daniel's chest grew warm, his fears finally quiet. He looked around the small home, no longer just four cracked walls, but something new, something alive. And as Lyra folded the last piece of cloth, placing it gently in the pile, she whispered, "This is our beginning." Daniel smiled back at her, tired but full of hope. "Then let's make it last."